All right. Welcome, everyone, to our call tonight. This is our first team connection call, and we have asked Nicki Kneece to give a testimony this evening. And so we're going to get started with her, and then we'll go into our second testimony for Tammy Wright. But let's get started with Nicki first.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So I have only been on the product since August. I've been telling everybody I started in September, but in fact, September is when I started to be really consistent. I didn't even know until today that it was like August 11th that I started taking the products. And I went back to find my initial chat with Kristen. I just wanted to start because I did not feel good. I hurt all the time, every time. And I say every time I ate carbs, I would hurt. I never really had a true food allergy, and not that I know of. I never was tested, but I would just be in a lot of pain. I worked 11 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, with special needs adults and then fifth graders. So I was exhausted. I was drinking 3 to 4 32-ounce sodas a day, diet soda, and 2 pots of coffee. Like a sip of water when I was taking my sleep aids at night. And I was angry and I was exhausted and full of anxiety. So my kids had a tragedy in their family on their dad's side. They had lost their sister in a car accident. And I'd always struggled with anxiety and depression. My whole life, I was called the worry wart. That's what I was known for since I was a little kid. And that's not a way to live, but I lived that way my entire life. I always had the nervous stomach and all of that. And I had lost my dad 10 years ago, and I did not handle it well. And so my anxiety had gotten completely just out of control. I was fine when I had my kids. They were like my comfort because I had to be okay for them. But when my kids wouldn't go there, I would try to numb it. So about 5 times in 2020 to 2021, I would drink heavily to help my anxiety. And after the kids lost their sister, I knew I could not do that anymore. So August 1st was the day that I said I had to get healthy. And I was not going to. So I have a little app on my phone that has my days from not drinking. Anyways, so I wanted to get healthy. So I contacted Kristen, and I had no idea that your gut health was so important. I just knew I was not going to the bathroom. I was one of those people that just didn't go. And so I was hurting. Every time I ate, my stomach would hurt. I would be at work and I'd have to take my kids job coaching. I would job coach my students, and I would be in so much pain that it would felt like I needed to unbutton my pants. Well, I couldn't do that because I was working. And I have a finger that it's my trigger finger, and I would have to move it to get it to bend or whatever. And my supervising teacher was watching me one day, and she's like, "Nicki, is your finger okay? Because you're moving it normal." This was probably 2 weeks after I started Plexus. And I'm like, "Oh, well, that's weird." Okay. And my hips pop I have double jointed hips and knees and all of that. My knees didn't hurt anymore. I was waking up and going on a walk at 5:30, which I don't like to exercise. I still don't like to exercise, but I had the energy and I wasn't dreading getting out of bed. So all of this was starting to happen really early. And I sent Kristen a message and I was like, "I just need to tell you that I think I've lost weight." This was really early on. And I told her many times I wasn't going to share. But I accidentally shared, and people started to notice the different things. My whole thing is with anxiety. I couldn't go to the store, to Walmart, without my kids. If I was to go to Walmart, I would drive to the parking lot, and I would literally drive around the parking lot, pull in, pull out, drive around again for 10 minutes, and still just go home. I would borrow things from people if I needed something. Then I would take my kids. The day that I noticed I was getting better is I needed something for supper because my kids were coming home from their dads that night. And I went to the store. I walked in by myself, grabbed what I needed, got in the car, and I started crying because I went to the store as a 37-year-old by myself for the first time in forever. Sounds silly to some, but for me, that's huge. But my biggest thing was my daughter. My daughter has autism. She also has epilepsy. We struggle with so many things. So many things. We went to see a new neurologist because she also has what's called FND, functioning neurological disorder, meaning she also has non-epileptic seizures that's caused by stress and anxiety. We went to that doctor in November, and Bracy started her products in October. I think I put her on the triplex system, something like October. And we were at this doctor's office, first appointment. He was wonderful. We remembered him from when she was in the hospital, when she was in the PICU, like just a wonderful man. And he was concerned because Bracy's non-epileptic seizures were more than her epileptic ones. And he wanted to get to the bottom of it, which there's no treatment for those, just a little bit more anxiety medication. Bracy's on 15 pills a day, and she has been for a very long time. They told me that day that he wanted to put her on an additional anxiety medication over her 200 milligram anxiety depression medication she's already on. And I said, please. I was like, give me some time. She just started this system and I'm already seeing some things. I said, and I told him my stuff, and I had just started Vital Biome also. I said, I will go home and I'm going to start giving her this additional product. I told him what it was. He said, yeah, let's try it. But if you notice anything, we need something fast, because she was spiraling out of control. I was spiraling out of control before all this. She did not have a smile. She did not have a laugh. She's pretty like monotone anyways with her autism, but she has a beautiful laugh and a beautiful smile when it comes out, and it was gone. She had lost it from the day that her sister passed. So he said, all right, just give me, I'm going to trust you as a mom to do what you know is right. And then if you see no difference at all, we need to get her some help. So I called my mom and I'm like, am I doing the right thing? She said, follow your gut. So I did. And I watched her close. We went home that night and I started her on the Vital Biome along with her triplex. 2 weeks later, I was downstairs. She was upstairs in her room, and I heard her laugh. For the first time in a very long time, I heard her laugh. And she came down. I was like, Bracy, come down here. And she come running down. She's like, what? And I'm like, what are you laughing at? And she's like, I don't know, something on YouTube. She told me what she was watching on YouTube, and she's still laughing, and she couldn't stop. And she was just like, smile from ear to ear. And I was like, I got my kid back. I'm not going to lose her, because I thought we were going to for a while. Bracy's seizures are so much better because her anxiety is less. She does have occasional breakthrough epileptic ones, but that's going to happen. And she will have the non-epileptic ones. It's going to happen. We're all human. But that's my why, because I got my life back and I got my daughter's life back. So that's my story. Sorry I teared up. I can't hear anybody. Jody?
So good. Do we have to unmute ourselves?
Yes, I just did. That was fantastic. I understand how you feel.
Okay, if you would like to ask that, Nicki, I'm emotional here. If you would like to ask Nicki any questions at all, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions, or if we want to wait till the end when it's not being recorded, we can do that as well. But Nicki, that was incredible. Thank you for sharing your story. I knew it. I knew your story was incredible, but just hearing it all put together, because I've heard bits and pieces of it, it's very touching, and I appreciate you sharing it.
Thank you for asking me.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So, all right. Tammy, would you like to go ahead and start sharing your story, and then we can stop recording and we can ask any questions that we want, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay.
So the main reason why we share our stories is that so we can help each other, and so that we can, give people the inspiration or the incentive they need to get on the products, take the products more consistently, make the products work for us. And so I really am, even for as nervous as what I've talked about being, and as crazy as what I get, I am happy and humbled and privileged to be able to share with you guys. And so all through high school, I was always healthy. I mean, like, I was healthy, I was athletic, I was 100 pounds soaking wet. I played softball with my older sister. One of my best memories in high school was the fact that I was a freshman on the softball team, and I got to play on the varsity team with my sister Paula as a junior, my sister Eva as a senior. Best year. I loved it. And so, like, really 20 years ago, they had diagnosed me with thyroid cancer. And so they took my thyroid out. I remember waking up, and Paula, you're going to get a kick out of this. I remember waking up and mom being on one side of me and my husband being on the other at 24 years old, being told I had thyroid cancer. And my mom goes, "Oh no, now you're going to get fat." And I can laugh about that now because I know my mom, and Paula knows my mom. You guys might not think that's funny, but it really kind of is. But it's what happened. My health deteriorated every year so much. They surgically removed my thyroid, all of it, and then they did radiation to kill the rest of it. So I actually have no thyroid whatsoever working in my body. I take a synthetic hormone, and taking something synthetic is not the same as your own body producing it, because on the days that I was active and needed more, I just had that steady dose. I didn't have that extra thyroid the thyroid hormone to kick in to help me get through long days, or days when I needed the energy. My metabolism drug so bad. And so I always felt awful. Unless you have that feeling, and you just really don't understand. I mean, I know a lot of us are on plexus because we had that feeling, but when you're so constipated that you're having to live off of, stool softeners, laxatives, I've had to give myself enemas because the stool softeners and the laxatives are just not breaking it up, which really makes me mad, because for 20 years I went to this endocrinologist. And not just one, I saw 3 different ones over 20 years time, because when I wasn't getting answers, I was trying to seek answers. Not one person in the medical field ever told me you need more magnesium. You need magnesium to help you poop. It's so simple. It's stupid. It is so simple that it is ridiculous that me, who doesn't even have a degree, can tell somebody, "Oh, you need magnesium in your diet, and that'll make you feel a lot better." I can't even tell you the number of people that literally are texting me back, or calling me back, or texting me at 4:00 in the morning because they're constipated and hurting and want to sign up for plexus. And I'm looking at it thinking, "Oh my God, they texted me at 4 a.m. But that was me. That was me sitting on the pot, trying to go to the bathroom, but nothing coming out. And I knew I had ate so much, it should have been coming out. You know, when you're eating a buffet, and I honestly had an eating disorder. I used food. I was miserable. I was unhappy, and I had a food addiction, which is just as bad as alcoholism, which is just as bad as drug addiction. Food addiction is just as bad. And so I dealt with gas. And I mean, like, I remember having gas so bad one night that, like, I called my mother-in-law and told her, I think my husband's going to have to take me to the hospital because I was having an appendix attack. And then, like, I'm blunt. I mean, like, it was like, I just farted really big and loud. And I was like, oh, never mind. I feel better now. Your body shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't. Anyway. So, the endocrinologists were always telling me, drink more water, and of course, every time I drank more water, guess what? My fluid built up on my body. And then I was just like, could touch my body and it would indent in and it would stay indented in. And you could see the fluid was on me. I was buying over the counter diuretics trying to keep the fluid off of me. And it was such a vicious cycle, buying the stool softeners, buying the antacids, buying the everything. And so, so 4 years ago, Paula had joined Plexus, and she hasn't said I told you so, and I'm thankful for that. But she would like have these Plexus meetings up at her office. And in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to it. I've tried to lose weight. I can't ever lose weight. It's just another stupid thing and it costs and I can't do that. I don't have the money to put into that. I just couldn't do it. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't having any of it. And so, and I kept telling her, nothing's going to work for me. I don't have a thyroid. It's not going to work for me. And so over the years, I've had many health issues. The thyroid cancer, I had arches, plantar fasciitis where I could barely walk. I haven't had plantar fasciitis in a year and I dealt with that monthly. My appendix had ruptured and I know that I'm listing off all of how my health was going downhill. I had knee problems too, Nicki, and I had the Synvisc injection put underneath my kneecap. And I don't know if you know what that is, but they take rooster combs. So in the comb of a rooster, that gelatinous fluid mimics what's in between our joint. And my knee was bone dry from years of catching with softball. And so I was doing a Synvisc injection where I was going and letting a doctor put this fluid straight up underneath my kneecap with a needle that bruised my knee for a week afterwards. And I spent, $1,300 on each one of those after insurance. And that literally was every 8 months. So 3 years, over $4,000 into my knee. It's crazy. I had awful female issues. I had a tubal litigation done because we were done having kids and I wanted to go off birth control because it was just making me so miserable. And I had high blood pressure. I had a bladder sling put in. Then I had very awful periods where I had an ablation surgery done where they scrape out the lining of they burn the lining of your cervix. I had high blood pressure, so I had to go on water pills. So 2 years after this tubal litigation, my fallopian tube, it filled with fluid. And it had nowhere to go because, of course, it had been burnt and cauterized. And so it was just it was stuck behind my uterus and nobody could figure out what was wrong. So I did another 6 months of testing of why I had such awful abdominal pain. And so it was 3 times the normal size that it should be. And so then I had a total hysterectomy 4 years ago. And then 3 years ago, I found a knot in my right breast and it was very painful. It was a knot that it was a nagging pain that never went away. And it was exasperated and hurt worse as I did my job. So trying to do pedicures and trying to do hair with my hands up all the time. I lived off of Tylenol and Aleve, and I thought this can't be good for me. I am literally going to kill my organs. I am 43, I think at the time, years old, and I cannot keep taking this much stuff. And so I went to my gynecologist. I am a snotty mess. I am so sorry. I knew I'd do this. So I went to my gynecologist and I asked her, what can I do? And, she was like, what? Because I'd already seen a breast surgeon and she just told me to take vitamin E, that sometimes breast issues can resolve if you take vitamin E. And so that wasn't helping. I took vitamin E. I took vitamin E religiously, like 6 little capsules a day. It wasn't helping and it didn't make a difference. And so I went back to my gynecologist, who I absolutely love, who's retiring. And she was like, have you ever thought about a breast reduction? And I'm like, no, I don't want my stomach bigger than my boobs. There's no way I would want that. And she goes, okay, it's just a thought, they might be able to remove it if they go in. And I was big, I was heavy, so heavy. And so, I was done after hurting and feeling miserable. And I was mean to my kids. I was mean to my husband. I was so unhappy. We went on vacations and I could barely walk. I could barely do anything. When we went to the zoo with the kids, I would have to have my husband walk next to me. And he would have to hold my hand if we were going up an incline or if we were walking upstairs. I remember being in Seattle, and this is after I started trying to lose weight. I remember being in Seattle and Paula, she just looked at me, she goes, are you going to make it? And I go, I don't know. That's a lot of stairs. I don't know if I can make it up there. And so I was just done. I was, after seeing the breast surgeon, and her telling me that you don't have a big enough cyst in your breast to warrant us going in and taking it out. I looked at her flabbergasted. I was like, what? I'm telling you it's hurting and you won't go in and remove it. And she goes, no, they just don't remove them unless they're bigger. And with you having the hysterectomy, yours isn't going to get any bigger because it's fed by hormones. So I saw another one and the same thing. They said the same thing that breast surgeon did. So I was done. After that appointment, we were in Columbia and we went to Walmart. And I looked at my husband and I said, I'm done. And so immediately I Googled the plastic surgeon that I wanted to see in Columbia University Hospital, Dr. Colbert, wonderful man. And it was July 13th. And Nicki, it is so funny how you remember the exact days when you've made the choice, when you're doing it. And so July 13th of last year, I was walking around Walmart and I called them and I asked to make an appointment. And the receptionist told me, how tall are you? And I said 5'5". Well, guess what? I'm 5'4.5". So that was a couple more pounds we had to add to me losing. So I said I was 5'5" and I weighed 245 pounds. I weighed 268 before they did my hysterectomy. I was almost a 300-pound woman. And I weighed 245 pounds on July 13th of last year. And so I give her how tall I am. I tell her how much I weigh. And she says, I'm sorry, hon, but he won't even see you. He won't make an appointment with you. It's just too high of a risk. He doesn't operate on people with the high BMI. And I said, what do I have to lose? I'm going to see him. I'm going to call you back and make the appointment. How much do I need to lose? And she told me I had to lose 35 pounds. And I thought, shit, 35 pounds. Oh, sorry, Kathy. At least it wasn't the other one. So I had to lose 35 pounds. And I was like, I can't even lose 5 pounds in like a month. How am I going to lose 35 pounds? And I just can't. But I'm telling you, you get your mental health right and you feel like you can do anything and you tell yourself you can do anything and you can do anything. And so I came home from that appointment. I was just so upset. I was just defeated. I mean, I literally felt like I was defeated, that there was no way I was going to get healthy. And so I asked my husband to help me because he's a wrestling coach. And so he knows how to cut calories. He knows how to lose weight. He knows how to drop weight. He knows how to drop weight quickly and healthy enough. I'm not saying it's healthy to drop weight quick because it's not. But with all the testing that I had been to with the doctors, I wanted to get in with this deductible that I had already shelled out so much money. My deductible is $6,000. This was $6,000 to me on the line. And so I went on a 500 calorie diet for 2 months. And I was going to go on a 500 calorie diet to lose this weight. I lasted 3 days before my blood sugar was bottoming out. And I am a hairstylist. And so like my hands were shaking as I'm trying to cut hair, and I'm starved. I'm going to bed crying, and I'm just like, I can't do this. And so I went up to Paula's office, or I called her and I said, I can't do this. I said, I have to lose 35 pounds and I don't know how to do this. Tell me about Plexus. And she goes, get up here now. She goes, come up to the office now. And I walked out my front door and I got in my car just crying. And I went up there and I threw the door open, and I'm a whirlwind anyway. So, I mean, like, she had to have thought, oh my gosh, she's crazy. But I said, I don't know what to do. I don't care what I have to spend. Get me started on Plexus because I'm doing this. I'm losing this 35 pounds. I'm saving $6,000 and I'm getting in this year. Paula opens up her cabinet up at her office. She has it at home. She has it at her office. This girl knows how to stay consistent with Plexus. And so she started me immediately that day. She didn't even make me wait for my products to come in. She's like, here, take this bottle, take this big drink, take this, and this is what you're going to do. She goes, there's more products, but let's start there. And I'm like, okay. And so I literally, I mean, I don't know how many of you all can say this, but my sister saved my life. I mean, literally, truly. I feel that deeply. But she started me with it. So armed with Plexus products, journals for tracking my weight, food, exercise. I had a journal for everything. My mind was made up that mentally I'm doing this. And I had to lose that 35 pounds. And I did that. I lost 35 pounds in 9 weeks. 9 weeks. And so after the first month, after 1 month of doing exercise and eating right, I mean, I ate so healthy and so clean. Fruits, vegetables, lean meats, no red meats, lean meats. And I did that for 1 month. And in 1 month's time, when I was walking, I was going to bed and my legs were cramping so bad. And I looked at my husband and I said, I don't understand. I'm not pushing myself. I'm walking and I am hurting. And he goes, Tammy, how much water are you drinking? And I said, I don't know. I'm doing like 9 or 10 water bottles a day. He goes, those are 20-ounce water bottles. He goes, you're flushing your system out. You have no electrolytes in your body. You're turning yourself sick. Thank God my husband is a wrestling coach and knows all that. So immediately I'm adding hydrate into my Plexus routine. I'm adding MetaBurn. And you can even ask Paula, I would literally take cash up to her and say, here, I'm not ordering out on my debit card. I don't want my husband to know how much I'm spending in Plexus. Could you please order it for me? And then, loving sister that she is, ordered it on my account with her debit card. Her debit card was my backup debit card. That's love, when your sister will do that for you. And so I got in to see the doctor, and the first thing the doctor said was, he walked up to me and he squeezed my shoulder and he patted me on the knee, and he goes, I hear you've lost 35 pounds in 2.5 months. He goes, congratulations. I am proud of you. And I'm like, I said, thank you. And they gave me a minute to collect myself as how broken down I was. And he goes, now you know how to do it and you can do it. You keep going. And I said, I'm going to. And so I really thought I would be able to get that breast reduction done. But there was a lot of insurance and then the hospital, and everybody knows when you're having surgery. I started this in July. Early October, I got in to see him, hoping I would get surgery before December. They called me, and July 3rd was when they made the appointment for my surgery. I hung up. I told her, please call me if anybody cancels. I own my own business. I'm intermittent fasting. I don't eat anything after 8 o'clock at night, nothing before 11:30. You call me and I'll be down there, and you could do the operation on me that day. I don't care. And she laughed and she goes, okay, well, we'll call you, but there's 3 people ahead of you to get in for surgery. And I thought, oh, damn, there goes. It's not happening. My husband's like, you're already spending a ton for Plexus. He goes, you're going to pay $6,000 for surgery too. We can't afford it. And every month that my Plexus payment came out, it was a big argument. It was a big fight. And I got towards, I just walked away, and you know, it is what it is. And I'll get to that in a little bit, but I don't regret it. And I never will regret that. But so I got, the surgery scheduled. I just dropped to my knees every night and I just started praying. I'm like, I'm trying. What more do you want? I'm trying to get healthy. I'm trying to feel better. I've already had thyroid cancer. Yes, they don't think this is breast cancer, but still, I mean, honestly, I was scared because it was hurting so bad. About a week or 2 later, after making that appointment, the coordinator called me back and she said, how does December 27th sound? And I just sobbed on the phone and I said, are you joking? And she goes, no. And I go, I thought there was 3 in front of me. And she said, none of them wanted it that close to Christmas. And I said, happy birthday, Merry Christmas to me. And so I said, yes, I want it. And so just so you all know, heavy breasts, for every pound that they take off of a woman's chest, it's 10 pounds of forced pressure off her back. I lost 20 pounds of pressure off my back just by doing my breast reduction. And so as these months were going on, this is funny because this mimics Nicki. Gabe, my future son-in-law, and my daughter were talking one day, and I said, what are you talking about? They go, nothing. They didn't want to tell me. And I said, no, what? Paige goes, I don't want to upset you, Mom. I go, I promise. It might hurt my feelings, but I'm not going to be upset with you. Just go ahead and tell me. She goes, well, Gabe and I were talking about how happy you are and how much more pleasant you are to be around, and you're not arguing and fighting with everybody. And they saw a difference. I mean, it was just almost immediate that when I went on the products that they saw that I was feeling better. And so Plexus products, they do work. You just have to make them work for you. And yes, I had drastic results and I lost 75 pounds like in 6 months. But that's because I was trying to meet a goal. I've settled in to it and I'm comfortable. I wanted to lose 100 pounds in a year's time by July 13th. Guess what? I may not lose that 100 pounds, but I feel good and I'm okay with where I'm at. I wore a 2-piece bathing suit to Kathy McCurry's house today. I haven't worn a 2-piece in over 30 years. Yeah. So just this last week, I signed up people under me to help them because I want them to feel as good as what I feel. Just this last week, I've had 3 of my clients come in and they hug me and they're crying and I'm crying and they're like, you have no idea. You don't know how good I feel. I'm like, no, really, I do. I do know. And I'm glad I've been able to help people. I've gone, far with this company and I'm far enough that, I'm getting the perks and the benefits so that monthly I'm not paying for the product out of my earnings that I have to work for. It's just literally what I've shared with people. And so now I've made Plexus work for me. Plexus is now helping me be healthy. And so it's so funny. If you literally want Plexus to work for you, you can find a way. There's birthdays that you get gifts for. Guess what? For Christmas, my mother-in-law asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I want hunger control. I'm almost out. Can you get me some of that? Well, I don't know what to get you is what she said. I go, oh, Paula does. She can get it for me. And Paula did. Paula ordered what I needed in and she got it for her to give to me. And so there are all kinds of ways to make Plexus work for you. And it literally, it's game changer. It's life changing. And so now I have no problem throwing up anything. When you think about it, you've got to post the post. You've got to let people know. They're not all going to come to you and ask you. Although, funny story, Donna Barger stepped forward in a big way, because as I was getting people that wanted to be healthy and be under me, Paula was too. So Paula, as my upline, she could have done it because she's Superwoman. No, I'm Superwoman. Sorry, Paula. No, I'm Wonder Woman. You can be Supergirl. Anyway, Paula was signing so many people up herself since February that the ones that I was signing up, I went above Paula and I was like, Donna, can you help me out? Donna has always stepped forward and been there for Paula and I. And I remember waking up one morning, and I am not even joking, I had 7 messages through Messenger on one morning saying, tell me about Plexus. How can I get signed up? I think I was having a meltdown, and I texted Donna, I am too busy with hair today to deal with this. She goes, send them to me. Send me 4. You can do the rest. It's fine. You've got this. And then, well, actually, to back up, the first thing she said was, breathe, Tammy. She said, breathe. Just take a deep breath. It doesn't have to be done this second. We'll get them in. And so you guys are truly wonderful. Each one of you guys on here is truly wonderful, whether it's posting and me being able to be inspired by you, or whether it's the talks that I've had with you, Jody, where you've told me, what products work best and what I need. And I remember you saying, girl, do not take less than 2 Pro by 5. And since I've done that, I'm even better feeling. I thought I was feeling good, and now I'm feeling great, and it's amazing. And the encouragement, Sadie, that you've given, and Kristen, always making sure you're commenting. I love you girls, and I need that. And it's sad that we are so needy, but we are. And I had 3 different groups while I was doing this that I was reaching out to. It was Paula and our cousin by marriage, the boys' cousin, Kim. We were in a group, and I'd say I lost 2 pounds yesterday, and they're my cheerleaders. I had my family where I put on the group, hey, I'm down to, 190. I hit under 200, and I went out to eat, gorged, and got back up to 205 right quick again. And I didn't care because I was celebrating. But I had my kids, and if my kids only posted, if I messaged them, hey, I've lost 5 pounds this week. Good job, Mom. I'm going to need a little more than that. I was very needy, and I let people know I was needy. But you know what? If that's what you need, don't be ashamed to ask for it. That's what stops us, is our fear that we are going to bother somebody or we're going to offend somebody. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. Reach out to me. I mean, everybody has my number. I throw it up on Facebook all the time. I literally will rejoice for every pound, every half pound, every feel good, even if it's not weight you're losing. And so my daughter, I got her started on it. And it's funny because she wouldn't start on it with me. She's been trying to have a baby for a year, and she's been so messed up with her periods. And I was like, you just need to try this. And she wouldn't. I set her down and I said, if I buy your first months, will you please just do this? And she goes, okay, fine, I will. Guess what? She's got 5 or 6 people underneath her now. She's sharing all the time on Facebook. It's contagious. Health is contagious. Everybody wants it. It's hard to attain, but it's not with Plexus. And we just got to keep sharing that. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I love you all, and I'm done.
Oh gosh, Tammy, that was fantastic. It was so fantastic. Let me see if I can stop recording, and then that way everyone can